It was the most troubling feeling for a 35-year-old man to depend on a 62-year-old mother. Soon after my discharge, I went to meet my children. When I reached my house, it was locked. The neighbors told me Susan had shifted to her lover's house with the children. According to my neighbors, Susan's lover was a fat old man who had been divorced thrice, but was filthy rich and had no children. Some even label Susan a gold digger and cheapster to sleep with a grumpy old man for his fortune. I managed to get the address of her boyfriend and reached his house. When I reached Susan's new home, she didn't let me meet my children, saying that the children had already adjusted to her boyfriend and apparently called him daddy. She said that my sudden appearance would confuse them further. She threatened me with a restraining order when I insisted on meeting my children. I didn't have a penny to spend on a lawyer. I was surviving on my mother's meager income, so I backed off. It was less than 6 months after my accident and only a few months after my divorce. She was already living with a man. I felt disgusted. I asked her how she could abandon me and move on so quickly. Immature. I know. I was a helpless, wheelchair-bound father. What else could I do? I pleaded with her for at least one chance to prove my worth. She belittled me, saying that I was a cripple and a burden in her life. I asked her if she cheated on me before the divorce because our divorce was settled a month ago, and she was already living with her lover. She shooed me, saying that it was not my business and that I should never show my ugly face to her. I kept staring at her, contemplating my 7 years of married life with that woman who replaced me with another man in a few months. I left the place with teary eyes. I went back home, feeling defeated by the humiliation. I cried like a 5-year-old in front of my mother, who consoled me. She motivated me to take charge of my life. I was clueless about my life. I was directionless. To start with, I joined my mother in her shop. I helped her make bouquets, serve the customers and clean the shop. Soon I realized that the business had a huge potential to grow, but my mother was too fragile to do it herself. I pulled out my old contacts to secure contracts with event management companies to supply flowers at the events. Gradually, I built a team and took contracts for venue decorations, and eventually launched my own event management company. It took me 12 long years to rebuild my life for myself. My mother had my back all these while. She supported me and motivated me to bounce back. A year after my accident, I learned Susan was leaving the city with my children and her lover. I rushed to the house to meet my children, but they had already left by the time I reached. Before that, I tried to reach out to my children multiple times, but Susan insulted me and chased me away every time. Susan had full custody of the children and could decide everything for them. Since I was physically and financially challenged, I could not contest joint custody. I couldn't challenge her restraining order because I was too broke to hire a lawyer. Whereas Susan had a wealthy boyfriend, Evan. I didn't know if he was already with her before my accident and, if not, how he suddenly appeared in Susan's life. All I knew was that he was a wealthy man with ample ancestral property. In the last 12 years, whenever I got any leads of my children, I traveled to meet them but failed every time. Susan threatened to get me arrested as her boyfriend had the money and contacts to get away with anything. BTW. That man didn't marry Susan even after 12 years. Although they lived together. A year ago, I finally filed for joint custody. I was waiting eagerly for my event management business to get stabilized. I filed